They form up into formation. Oh, look at that. Absolutely awesome. All the missiles coming together. The granites lining up, ready to attack. So cool. Hello guys, and welcome back to Sea Power, naval combat in the missile age. Big thanks to Triassic Games and Microprose for giving me early access to this awesome game, but do bear in mind that it is work in progress and therefore subject to change. If you'd like to check out the game for yourself and wishlist it on Steam, I'll leave a link to the Steam page in the description. In this one, we're going to be playing another mission I created myself. This one is a follow-on to the Vladivostok mission. It's called Ready for Bear. Let me read you the description. September 14th, 1990. Commander, the war has begun. Whilst launching Kirov early and our surprise attack on the US warships was successful, I'm afraid we have taken significant losses. Your mission is to reach St. Lawrence before the US vessels so that you can land PDSS, Spetsnaz forces, to capture or kill all defectors. This is of the utmost importance. Our spies on the island confirmed these defectors hold information vital to the defense of our nation. We can assume the US is also prioritizing these defectors. We do not know how many vessels you will be facing, only that they will likely be to your east/southeast. We do not expect an aircraft carrier or submarines in the area. Good luck, Commander. So of course we're going to be taking control of the one and only Kirov today, a missile cruiser. This big bad boy has some serious weaponry. We've got ourselves the SAN-6 Grumble, anti-aircraft and anti-surface missile. We have ourselves the Gecko, mostly anti-aircraft missile with 8 nautical mile range. Then we have the big boy, the shipwreck SSN-19, which with a nautical mile range of 378. The Granite is an awesome weapon, so we'll hopefully get to use that today. We also have access to some SSN-14As. The A variant can only fire at submarines, so it drops its torpedo. The B version can be used against other surface vessels. We have the RBU 6000 and RBU 1000 anti-submarine mortars. We also have our own torpedoes that we can drop into the water, the AK-100 guns, and the AK-630 Seawiz. Okay, as we can see, the weather is not fantastic, but lucky for us, the KA-27s that we do have in the hangar are good to go in this weather. So let's go ahead and launch all of those, and we'll start heading east with a search pattern to find the enemy vessels. You can see over here that we do have a fishing ship, spy vessel. Very cool little unit, this one. Does have the ability to pick up ESM on each of the bands, like every band, which is really cool. We also have a navigation surface search radar with a range of 32 nautical miles, although in this weather probably not going to be able to see that far. So we'll probably just whack that onto MCON so that it doesn't get targeted by any enemy ships, whilst we'll still be able to pick up ESM contacts. There's also behind us an EM transmission or EM emission. Looks like it's most likely a small ship being tracked by our spy ship. The first class is a fishing boat, and then all of these other smaller vessels unlikely to be in the hands of the US, so not too much to worry about there. So here we have our KA-27 ready to go. Now the KA-27 was an upgrade to the KA-25, and these things were made to apparently fly in basically all weather conditions. Now, I'm not sure I would want to be in a helicopter in these sorts of weather conditions with the lightning flying off in the distance, but yeah, we'll send them on their merry way, and hopefully they don't get hit by lightning. I'm not sure how high the cloud cover is, but we can send these up and We'll probably put them to like 6,000 feet with their radar on, and hopefully we can spot some enemy vessels. So our objective is to reach this circle on the map. You can see that we are here in the Bering Strait, which is the sort of pun that I used in the mission name, Ready for Bear, as we are bearing down on St. Lawrence in the Bering Strait. So seemed appropriate, and of course we do have a big old ship that is ready to fire away if needs be. Now since we're in wartime, we don't have to hold off too much. As soon as we see an enemy surface contact and sort of identify it as such, then we can quite easily and predictably engage them. So we just got to get this Ka-27 into position to find the enemy ships. We'll have the second one fan out further north and then the third one further south. It's really, really cool watching these take off though. I'm wondering if it wasn't MCOM whether or not they'd have lights, or if they even have lights at all. But you can see the sailors on deck there getting that helicopter into the sky. Now we do have some contacts. So we have two radar contacts, two large radar contacts heading towards St. Lawrence. If we use the ruler, you can see that they are heading in roughly that bearing, 92 nautical miles out. So we'll go check out what they are. Getting kind of into the clouds. I'm not sure if the clouds are modeled to interfere, so we will stay below the clouds at 3,000 feet. Otherwise, we might have a hard time spotting those surface contacts from here on in. Let's see what information we actually have about these. So information suggests it could be a merchant vessel. Now, it's very unlikely it's going to be a merchant vessel, just because merchant vessels don't travel through the Bering Strait. But we'll get our second helicopter in position. We'll head this one south first at 3,000 feet. Pop its radar on. As we get closer, we're going to have to be a bit careful because they might send missiles at my helicopters. Now the Kirov is running at flank speed, so we're going as fast as we can towards our objective. If we get to the circle, then we'll win. If we also destroy all enemy vessels, we'll win. So either will do as we continue to poodle along and get the last of our 3 helicopters into the sky. I just find the setting incredibly cool. The lightning coming down in the distance, it just looks absolutely beautiful. Especially when you're just sitting in front of the Kirov and the lightning's going off behind it like that. That was perfect. Good timing, game. Good timing. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, let's head this one further north. We'll kind of try and intercept. Set it to 3,000 feet with surface search on. What I can do actually, maybe head this one a little closer from the south side. This one can go a little closer from the north side, although they're heading north, so they'll probably bump into it. We could have this one travel really low instead of at 3,000 feet with MCON and just like drop some sonar buoys so that we can maybe identify them using their sound underwater instead. Because based on the number of propellers that they have, like the shaft, we can determine what kind of vessel they might be. So if we can get close enough to drop a sonar buoy, that would be the way to do it. Now you might notice in the top left there is a formation manager. I don't think this entirely works just yet, but I think the idea is that in future you'll be able to just click through these and it will take you to your specified individual units or formations. So in the previous mission where I was playing on the Vladivostok, this was exactly the kind of thing that I would have needed in order to kind of click through all of the different formations of aircraft to give them different orders, rather than like opening up the map and doing it, or, you know, clicking in the bottom left here. But for today, we're just gonna leave that up there so you guys can see what we have at our disposal. But I am probably just going to continue to click on the map, as that is what I have got used to. So we're closing in. We're currently 65 nautical miles away from this fleet. Now, I'm pretty sure the Harpoon at this point, I think it has a 65 nautical mile range, so we are going to have to be a bit careful of that. If we identify these as any ship that might have a Harpoon on it, then we'll have to kind of try and stay out of range of those. If we go to unit reference and we go to surface ships, it's most likely that we'll bump into something like an Oliver has a Perry, or like something like a frigate. There's Garcia class. The Oliver has a Perry does have harpoons, so that's 65 nautical mile range. It could also be something like a missile cruiser. So Virginia class, these do actually have tomahawks that could potentially fire back. Harpoon. Tychos, they have harpoons as well. So it could be a bunch of these different units. We know that there's probably not going to be submarines. We know that there's probably not going to be a carrier up here. So we just need to try and identify what these are, and then we can go from there. So might just speed things up a little bit. We'll go to 3 times speed as our helicopters move into position. So I'm actually going to take this one down to 20 feet now, and we'll go MCON. This one can continue the southern heading, this one can continue the northern heading. And as we approach, just trying to figure out exactly what those are. I could also try and move my spy ship to intercept, but the likelihood is they're going to get close enough anyway. We could maybe increase the speed to like a head full. That will take us to, let's see, what's the ordered speed? 9 knots. I think this thing kind of struggles to get through these waves. Poor thing's barely moving. But hey, at least the helicopters are zipping along. So currently, yeah, 8 o'clock local time. We're getting within 50 nautical miles. One thing I probably should do whilst we're waiting is check to see what sort of ranges we can expect on anti-air. So I'd usually use a standard, which would be 24. In that case, what about Nox? Okay, those aren't very far. That's only 10 nautical miles. What about the Virginia? So that has 24 nautical mile range on its anti-air. What about the Tychos, the other one that we should probably check? What does that come under? Is that missile cruiser as well? Yeah. This one has 40 nautical mile range on its standards. Okay. So that's what we'll have to pay attention to. Try not to get too much closer than 40 nautical miles with the ones that are up in the air with those radars on. But we might be able to sneak the one that's running low with MCON much closer. That's kind of the plan at the moment, whilst we continue booking it towards the shore here. Okay, so we have just discovered 2 more contacts. Let's just slow things down and see if we can get any information on these. So Not any real information just yet, unfortunately. They're all throwing out the same signature of being merchant vessels. Oh, there could be anything, really. That is basically what that is saying, because when we look at the information here, it says merchant and 13 more. But what we'll do is, maybe I can just drop a sonar buoy here. I'm not sure if that will be able to pick up the sound of these from range, but they are incredibly sensitive, so it might give us a hand. The only problem with doing this is it does put us up to 200 feet, and we are now within range of potentially a standard missile. I'll just bring that a bit closer so that it drops it ASAP. Meanwhile, these can continue heading down to try and get closer. We just, again, don't want to go within 40. What I might do is do a circle for 40. That's going to be roughly correct. Obviously, it's going to be different for the bottom one here. I could draw another circle that overlaps, but it's not going to be too far off. Okay, so we'll just have the Ka-27 kind of stay there. This one can just cut across on the top side there. We did get the sonar buoy into the water. Does that help us at all? No. The last sensor that spotted them is my Ka-27s. So we're just going to continue forwards and maybe drop one a little bit closer. Let's go back down to 20 feet. And I'll speed things up as we move our way in. There's real tense at the moment as the Kirov continues to travel towards the objective. We are, of course, getting closer and closer to enemy harpoon range, potentially. We would already be in range of Tomahawk, so that doesn't really matter. It may be a good idea to keep the Ka-27 near the Kirov so that we can see enemy missiles coming in, if there are any. Right, we'll try and drop another sonar buoy here. Again, I'll just move it closer so that it drops it quickly. Otherwise it's going to be up in the air too long and might get shot down. Because we are about 30 nautical miles away from them with that Ka-27. Right, there goes the sonar buoy into the water. Let's get this back down to 20 feet. And keep heading towards them. There's our little sonar buoy in the water. We've got a new ESM contact. What is that? Most likely a P3C, which is an ASW aircraft, but they would be using that for trying to figure out what's around the area. There's also a Sea Sprite in the air, so we do know that there are enemies nearby. Okay, let's have a look at the information here. This always updates, so we have now got better information. This one has been identified as either a Perry or a Garcia due to the blades from... Yeah, okay, so it looks like it got discovered because of its shafts, so that means that the sonar buoy actually picked up the sound and then they figured out what it was. So the first one is most likely a Tycho, a Spruance, or a Kid. The second one is most likely a Garcia or Perry, and this one is most likely a Garcia or Perry. Now, do we have any information about this one? That one still says merchant, so that could be a bit rough to engage, but let's just stop this Ka-27 from getting too close, because that is very risky. But it does allow us to engage these three. It's wartime, so let's do it. We'll throw up probably 10 granites for 3 ships. I don't know if that seems like too much. I'm gonna fire them, I guess, all at the rear one, and then they'll pick their own targets as they get close anyway, because that's the way the weapon system works. Let's just line up the camera here so we can watch these fly off, because it is absolutely awesome. Okay, we will send, let's see, we'll do 8, I think. That will leave us with 12. Yeah, we'll do 8. If we need to do like a, that kind of gives us options, because we might either get kills and therefore we don't have to use as many next time, or we don't use enough and then we'll still have enough to fire more, if you see what I mean. So we'll fire 8, I think. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Off they go. We're all starting to turn away as those fire off into the sky. Look at that. So cool. That is blasting off all those granites into the sky. And you know what's even more cool? They form up into formation. Oh, look at that. Absolutely awesome. All the missiles coming together. The granites lining up, ready to attack. So cool. See another one coming in from the backside there. We've got another one coming into the right of that formation. And the way that this works is they'll try and overwhelm the CIWS by all attacking at the same time. The other thing about this is there will be a command missile. So when one of them will identify the different radar contacts, and then it will get assigned basically targets for the rest. Now we are currently maintaining decent radar contact onto these 3 targets. The other vessel has also turned at the same time, so that is actually most likely an enemy vessel as well. We don't have any more information on that at the moment, so I'm going to try and swing round the KA-27 to the other side so that we can get a good radar contact on that. I could also try and shift this K-27 round the bottom, something like this, in order to deploy a sonar buoy down here so that we can discover what that might be. Because the sonar buoy is the main thing that allowed us to identify that these are in fact hostile, due to them using specific shafts. The sonar picking that up. So main power gas turbine, and it's hearing those through the water. Okay, so the granites have just moved into 40 nautical mile range. Also, now that we know what these are roughly, we can check. So Tycho Speransk Kid, we can go into unit reference, go back to missile cruiser. So Tycho is there. So this does have the 40 nautical mile missile if we're going to go up against that. And then the others would be frigates, I believe. So the Speransk, actually, what's the Speransk commander? I'm not even sure. I wonder if we can check it on the, oh, there we go. Coming through the clouds. Oh, with the lightning in the background. So cool. Okay, that's in fact been identified as a Tycho. Okay, so we don't need to worry about what else it could be, as it is firing off missiles to defend itself at the moment. Alright, the missiles are spreading out and picking targets, swinging backwards and forwards to evade missiles. Look at that. It's so cool how these work. Incredible stuff. homing backwards and forwards. You can see it on the map how it's working. You can also hear the Tycho's missiles coming towards them as it continues to launch more, and it will launch a lot. Another was intercepted. It looks like one of them has targeted the ship on the top side there. Alright. A puff of smoke as another missile tries to hit our granites. Oh, I can hear the standards flying past. Another one taken out there, and there goes another as the flak starts coming in. We've now only got 4 missiles, make that 3. 2 left. Will one hit the mark? One's getting very close to the Tycho. Sea-Wiz, can it do the job? It doesn't look like it will. Straight into the back of the Tycho. Oh, the rear vessel managing to just kill the granite in time, but one of them did get through the Tycho on fire. Now, if this is a Garcia or Perry, this is a Garcia or Perry. We have no idea what this is. But the Tycho, that thing is very good at defending against missiles usually, so taking that out is really, really good for us. Really, really good indeed. Now, the Kirov can unleash on the last of them. I'm not sure if I'm going to want to engage with more or less, because 8 did manage to break through with 1. So it makes me almost want to just launch all 12 and hopefully be able to finish them off. Now this Ka-27's getting in front, this one's kind of still moving around behind. It's more just a choice of whether or not we engage with everything. Due to the importance of our mission, I feel like firing all of them isn't so much of a bad idea, but we'd certainly have to like book it home afterwards so we don't get intercepted by the US fleet, which could still happen. I wonder if there's a port up here. I actually don't know where the nearest port would be up here in Siberia. That's, yeah, not to my knowledge. Alright, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll fire all of them. And if we fail to get the job done, then we will move closer and engage with our grumbles. We do still have the grumbles available if the granites fail us. So let's go ahead and fire all of them. And we're going to target this large radar echo as well. There might be a chance that if the Tycho hasn't sunk by the time the granites get there, that will maybe stop our granites from acquiring good targets, but we'll see. Look at that view. Just firing off so many granites up into the sky, and as they go into the cloud, like the booster disappearing. Very, very awesome. Alright, so that is all 12 fired. Looks like they're going to move into 2 groups. We have one group here where this one is forming up, and we have the second group here that will follow up afterwards. If the first group doesn't get the job done, the second group most likely will. I'm going to drop another sonar buoy here. Just do it really close.
Курс. Вас понял. Курс 93.
Okay. Looks like the Sea Sprite keeping tabs on my KA 27.
84.
How close is this one to the Kirov? Looks like roughly 47 nautical miles. That's kind of just out of range. And we could try and engage with an SA N6, but probably not going to happen. It's a bit too far. Alright, we dropped another sonar buoy. Let's get this down to 20 feet. And maybe we can identify what this is from that. We still don't know. Oh, they're all free game now. The granite are going in. The Kirov with those missiles. Incredible firepower. Very, very cool ship. I thought it'd be fun to make a mission where we're using the Kirov to take on any number of vessels and see how well they can do. You hear some of the granites now going through the clouds. They're all dropping to a lower altitude. Makes them much harder to hit. Again with the lightning in the distance. Absolutely awesome. And these ones now also dropping through the clouds. So these ones appear to be targeting the ship further up. These two contacts are very close together. Now these have spread out their targeting. We got 4 going to the bottom ships, and we've actually got 4 going for the top ship. Still don't have any good information on what that is. We could maybe move in a little bit closer, but I am concerned. What we might do is drop to 20. Actually, maybe we don't do that yet whilst the missiles are going in. But after the missiles have come in, if they've missed, we can probably try and get a bit closer with the KA-27s. Okay, we can see enemy missiles in the air. See those two further to the right. Oh, that one did get hit. Oh, and that one too. Oh, wow. One shot apiece. The last one will be coming in here. And hit the mark. Alright, well, there it is. A victory. No more ESM contacts. We are clear to St. Lawrence PDSS, ready to deploy. That is it. Now, in this mission, interestingly enough, this is probably the easiest go I've had at this mission. The way that it usually works, the way that I've set it up, is that there can be a random amount of enemy vessels that are coming towards St. Lawrence, and usually they can generally tank these granite missiles pretty well. But in this case, I think because we took out the Tycho early on, it left the 2 Oliver Hazard Perrys and the Spruance very, very vulnerable. Oh, the Tycho always spawns, so there is some decent missile defense there. Spruance is also 100% chance to spawn as well because it has its radars on to identify targets for the Tycho. And yeah, well, really, really cool. The Kirov class did a fantastic job of blowing those up, and we'll be able to advance to St. Lawrence to drop off the Spetsnaz to kill off those dastardly defectors. But that's going to be it from me for this mission. as we have the nice granite here with the exploded Oliver Hazard-Perrys in the distance. Great fun. Bit more of a simple mission than the Vladivostok mission. We got the easy end of the stick in that one, and it's still very, very good fun, and hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing the Kirov absolutely annihilating a US surface fleet. Oh, there's the Oliver Hazard. Actually, that's the Speranza there. Getting hit. Yeah. Those certainly do the job, those granites. That's all for now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.